Well everybody, here's what you've all been waiting for. The premier category of GPVWC competition returns for its 26th season, and here are the runners and riders who will be challenging for the prestigious Superleague Championship. THR. Two-time reigning teams champions THR return to defend their championship once more, and have perhaps their best chance yet at sealing a first driver's title in Super League, with the returning Tom Stevens joined by Jarl Tyen. Runner-up in Super League for the second season in a row, 2022 FS1 champion Stevens had a tricky start to 2024, retiring in a crash in Japan before recovering to take victories in Spain, the USA, and most memorably in Belgium, where he held on to beat Jan Grankvist by a tenth of a second. Famed for his consistency and strategic genius, the British driver should have all the tools he needs to go one better this time around. Competing in GPVWC since 2012, Norway's Tyen was a revelation when he joined Nocturne in the middle of last season, with podiums in Imola, Belgium and Baku, and victory at his beloved Monza. Setting the fastest time in pre-season testing and showing amazing car control, Tyen could well be a major threat for the title this season. Super Venturi. 2024 was a breakthrough season for the all-Finnish Super Venturi squad, as Jan Grankvist secured their first ever Super League drivers title. In the Teams Championship they fell 56 points shy of THR, and Grankvist is rejoined once again by friend and countryman Jukka-Pekka Laulu for a third campaign together. Grankvist was undoubtedly the standout driver of 2024, winning for the first time in Saudi Arabia, and then following up with victories in Japan, China, Britain and Germany, whilst taking 7 other podiums on his way to a dominant title. Towards the end of the season his rivals caught up, so Jan will have to fight to defend his crown. Laulu had a quiet season in 2024, scoring points 14 times but never looking like challenging for the podium. With only 6 finishes in the top 10, Laulu needs to get on top of the 2025 car if he wants any chance of Super Venturi lifting the team's title. TOP Esports. O Mogorgi's British team was third in the championship last season, as the team took 3 victories in their debut Super League season. Veteran Carlos Martin returns for a second campaign, and this time is joined by rookie Szymon Frelick. Spaniard Martin took an emotional first win in Canada last season on his way to 6th in the points table. Despite his impressive consistency, accidents in Imola, the Red Bull Ring and Silverstone limited his score. Frelick was spectacular in FS1 last season, joining mid-year and taking an astonishing 10 victories on his way to 4th in the championship. Now being promoted up to Super League after finishing 10th for the team in Singapore and setting the second fastest time in pre-season testing, big things are expected from the pole in 2025. Edge Esports. Embarking on their 10th season in Super League in 2025, the legendary Edge Esports squad changes hands yet again as Rodrigo Carvalho assumes ownership of the Belgian outfit that placed 4th last season, just 6 points behind TOP. Mark Schluter is retained for a second year, and is now partnered by fellow race winner and countryman Pascal Pollens. Schluter's 2024 season began disastrously, with 2 retirements in Melbourne and Jeddah, but he quickly turned things around by taking a first victory in Imola, followed by further wins in Austria and Brazil, along with 5 other podiums. Third in the standings was a great result for the German, but he has his sights set on the title for 2025. After 3 seasons with HRT, Pollens has moved to Edge after an incident-filled 2024 season saw him retire 7 times on his way to 18th in the drivers' standings. There were glimmers of hope though, with 6th in Canada and 8th in Austria, showing that there's still pace in the 2022 Mexican Grand Prix winner. Adonis Engineering. 2020 Super League champions Adonis have been mounting something of a renaissance lately, with a quietly impressive run to 5th in the points last year. Race winner Robin Pansar remains for his 3rd campaign with the Dutch team, and this season he is accompanied by podium finisher Matthew Williams. Pansar had his most consistent season yet last year, finishing in the points in all but 1 race. The peak was when he followed Grankvist on a one-stop strategy to finish runner-up at Silverstone. He also set his first career pole position at Monza, and finished the championship a best ever 5th. With the Super Swede going from strength to strength, never count out Pansar to add to his sole win at Spa in 2023. 2021 Superlights champion Williams started off 2024 strongly, finishing 5th in the season opener in Australia and taking a second career podium with 3rd in Japan. But after that, there were only 2 more top 10s as he slipped to 12th in the final standings. Now switching to Adonis for his 8th year in Super League, Williams aims to return to form quickly. Fraser Tartan Racing. Competing last season as Nocturne, Toby Davis's team had a tough start to 2024 before the arrival of Jarl Tyen transformed their fortunes and helped them up to 6th in the standings. Renamed in honour of Davis's late grandmother and the Scottish Fraser clan, a radical new lineup of Super League returnees Sven Schubert and Matt Richards have signed up for their first full seasons, aiming to make a major impact with the turquoise team. Schubert made his Super League debut at the 2017 Monaco Grand Prix, placing 13th. He's competed sporadically up and down the GPV ladder, but now the German gives his full commitment to FTR after excelling in the Virtual Formula Championship. Richards has been competing in GPV since 2013, with his best results coming in the International Touring Cup, may it rest in peace, where he placed 3rd in the standings twice. After scoring points in Super League in 2014 and becoming a race winner in FS1 in 2018, the time is right for the Welshman to return to the top tier. Holland Racing Team. After finishing 7th in the championship 2 seasons in a row, Dethan Roetring has decided to completely change the driver lineup at HRT going into 2025. 21 champion Stefan Roel rejoins the Dutch outfit he had so much success with, and is partnered with race winner Maciej Młynek. Roel spent 2024 mostly on the substitute bench, filling in at TOP Esports and getting a podium in Austria. While he's had other commitments outside of Simracing the last few years, HRT have welcomed the Dutchman back with open arms as he seeks to recapture his title-winning glory. 3-time Grand Prix winner Młynek has been away from Super League ever since his breakthrough 2022 season, where he won the Portuguese, Azerbaijan and Monaco Grand Prix for Edge Esports on his way to 5th in the standings. Since then he's been on sabbatical, other than a one-off 10th place for Edge in Saudi Arabia in 2023, but if he can get back on form, he could be a regular threat for podiums this season. AKA Hero. Missing out on 7th in the 2024 standings by just 6 points, Mike Teichmann's AKA Hero team had a promising first season in Super League, and the Mexican outfit retains its driver lineup of Dylan Fischer and Heiko Poom. Englishman Fischer had a rollercoaster year last season, flipping over in Japan, Singapore and the United States in spectacular crashes. From mid-season onwards, his performances began to improve sharply, and he started on the front row in Austria and then took 4 top 7 finishes, with the highlight being 5th in Germany after an inspired call to switch for the wet tyres briefly jumped him into the lead. With a lot of momentum built up into this season, expect Fischer to improve on his 11th place in last year's standings and break into the top 10. Estonian Poom was a regular feature in the points last season, scoring 10 times with the peaks being 3 8th places in Japan, Germany and Brazil. Never afraid to make a bold strategy call and stand out from the pack, expect Poom to come into the fore in tricky conditions. Epic Racing Team. The British Epic Racing Team had a tricky 2024, falling to 9th as Geoffrey Fournier was accompanied by a revolving door of teammates throughout the season. The Frenchman stays on for his 5th campaign with the team, and this time he's accompanied by fellow race winner Daniel Brewer. Fournier had a slightly underwhelming 2024 as he scored points 10 times on his way to 17th in the standings. His score was limited by incidents and accidents, but his racecraft has remained superb, and his overtakes on the way to 7th in Austria showcased that clearly. Brewer returns to Super League for the first time since 2022, where he placed 9th in the standings for VBM Esports. With 2 victories and a pair of pole positions from 59 starts, he has plenty of Super League experience and a fearsome reputation as a quick and capable driver, and could be a major asset to Epic this season. Green Stripes Racing. Little was expected of the Green Stripes team last season with a lineup of rookies, but they were able to finish in the top 12 in the standings. Team owner Christoph Lichtenstein has kept on the promising Stijn Handgraaf, and this season he is joined by fellow Dutchman Wopke Hoekstra. Engineering graduate Handgraaf acquitted himself well in his first Super League campaign in 2024, scoring points in his second race in Saudi Arabia before following it up with 6 other points finishes, including 2 10th places in wet races at Hockenheim and Interlagos on his way to 21st in the points. With some incredibly shrewd strategy calls, expect more points finishes for Handgraaf in 2025. A veteran of GPV since 2011, Hoekstra returns to Super League after spending the last few seasons struggling to find success for HGP in Formula Sprint 1. Returning to Super League during a slump in form is a huge risk, but the Dutchman's vast experience could be key in pushing Green Stripes forwards. Stax Racing. 15th and last after the annus horribilis that was 2024, Christian Zerner has nonetheless kept the faith in his two Hungarian chargers, Zsolt Fuchs and István Szingel, both of whom struggled to reach the checkered flag last season. After a solid 2023 with Adonis, Fuchs only scored points once in Monza last year, and he was otherwise all at sea with 9 retirements, marking a disappointing second season. He fared much better in his FSR Pro campaign, winning the season opener and taking 3 other podiums on his way to 4th in their drivers' table. If he can translate that form to Super League, then he could easily put his bad year behind him. 2023 FSR Academy runner-up Szingel had a baptism of fire in Super League in 2024, only finishing twice and failing to score a single point. His FSR Pro season wasn't quite as bleak, scoring 14 points and a top 7 in Singapore, but he's a driver up against it and with a point to prove in 2025. Road to Formula Racing. After winning the last 2 Superlights championships back-to-back, Road to Formula were long overdue a promotion into Super League, and team owner Sandeep Singh has finally decided to take the plunge. They retained their reigning champion Alex Lahou, who is joined by Super League race winner Thomas Vaux. Anybody who doubted Frenchman Lahou was thoroughly silenced by his incredible run to the Superlights title last season, taking 7 victories and 9 pole positions. He also had a few cameo drives for HRT in Super League, finishing 4th in Saudi Arabia and qualifying on the front row in the United States. Now matching his prodigal speed with maturity and consistency, Lahou could be stronger than ever in 2025. Wach endured a difficult 5th campaign with RSR, finishing in the points 7 times but never breaking into the top 6. Now the pole moves to R2F, seeking to recapture his 2023 form that saw him brilliantly win in Japan and take 5th in the championship. Spark Racing Team. Runners-up in the 2024 Superlight Championship, Vincent Gutt moves his Spark Racing outfit to the top tier of GPV for the first time, and joining the German in the driver lineup this season will be Frenchman Loic Meunier. A jack of all trades who has been successful on every step of the GPV ladder, Meunier commits to a full Super League season after taking a strong 4th on his substitute drive for Epic Racing in Austria last season, along with a 10th place for his former Edge Esports team in Baku. Experienced, smart and fast, expect Meunier to be a major factor this season. Gutt was 6th in Superlights last season, finishing in the top 8 in all but 2 races with a best finish of 2nd in Japan. Scoring his first Super League points last season in substitute drives at Silverstone and Baku, Gutt could well be a rock-solid point scorer once again. Valet Esports. 3rd in Superlights last year, Massimiliano Riboli's yellow team finally reaches the big time and makes its Super League debut after some strong performances last season. Star driver Alessandro Maggio is reunited with former Valet teammate Sergio Fletcher. Maggio shined in qualifying last year with 5 pole positions in Australia, Imola, Monza, Singapore and the United States. However, 5 DNFs, some mistakes and disconnections meant he finished 9th in the points, despite his breakthrough win in Singapore. The Italian also had a fantastic season in FSR Pro last year, taking 4 victories and missing out on the title by just a single point. With a 9th place in Shanghai for Epic Racing last season, the Magic Man could well deliver in his first full Super League campaign. Fletcher got a surprise call-up with Adonis at the end of last season, finishing in the top 9 3 times on his 5 appearances at the end of 2024, showing some very strong racecraft. The Spaniard is already very familiar with Valet and Maggio, taking 3 wins in FSR Pro for them last season, and missing out on the title in the final round as he tied on points with Maggio. Fletcher will have to miss the season opener, but he should be back for round 2 onwards. Red Archer Virtual Racing Team. Rounding out the 15-team field is the returning Red Archer squad. Super League teams champions in 2011, they slipped down to 11th in the table in 2023 before taking a year's sabbatical. Former driver Chris Shepherd rejoins the team, but the Greek outfit could not confirm his teammate in time for broadcast, meaning reserve drivers Michael Falkenhayn and Riot Kilk are likely to fill in for the time being. Englishman Shepherd had a difficult season with Edge Esports in 2024, scoring points 4 times and retiring on 6 occasions in several spectacular accidents. Entering his 10th season in the GPV ladder, Shepherd now returns home to the team that he scored his best results for in Superleague, but he'll need to keep out of trouble if he wants to hit his targets in 2025.